number 34, speaking on behalf of a farmer from Norfolk County. Norfolk County has one of the highest densities of rare and endangered wildlife in Canada. The farmer is trying to appeal to the Environmental Farm Group for funding to increase his productivity while decreasing the negative impact on the surrounding environments. After reviewing his situation, we compiled several ideas regarding the wishes of the landowner to increase the productivity without decreasing the ecosystems of the nearby forests and settlements.
First, we would like to give small ways which landowner can enhance the natural environment, which could also lead to increase in revenue for the landowner. The cost related to the renting of hives could be eliminated with the purchase of some climbing hydrangeas, a native species which is known to attract pollinators. We propose planting them alongside the house or barn to permit climbing, which should not be a problem, as pollinators will often travel quite a distance to find more flowers. Another enhancement idea that would be to scatter the seeds of native varieties of rice in the 5 acres of swampland that flood each spring. Not only would it be introducing a native species to help lessen the flooding, it would be something he could collect for additional profit if he chooses to do so.
We must, of course, bear in mind that his business is primarily in his cattle, and though they generate the greatest revenue, they have also had the most impact on the environment, not to mention the farmer's cash flow. The cattle currently have full access to the creek, causing erosion of the riparian area, sedimentation of the river, high levels of bacteria in the water, and an overly eutrophic waterway. The first step in solving this is to keep the cattle out of the water, for which we propose fencing. The second step is restoring the riparian area, starting with the eroding banks. A native grass, big blue stem, has long, thick stems and thick roots, which will stabilize the unsteady soil of the shoreline if planted. It is also drought resistant and can be eaten by livestock if it spreads into the upper lands. It gets roughly $10 per pound. Now, if we cut off the cattle from the waterway, how are they gonna get any water? For this, we propose having an alternate source of water high above in the uplands where cattle can just accumulate water from the river but without causing any of the damage that causes to the riparian area.
Another issue concerning the cattle is the fact that the landowner had to purchase extra hay for his cattle for the past 2 years due to drought. For this, we suggest planting Indian grass and switchgrass, both which are native to the area, drought resistant, and can be eaten by livestock. By mixing some of these 2 varieties into the normal cool season mix, he should be able to sustain his cattle without any extra expense by purchasing hay from the supplier. So the switchgrass is $10 a pound, and the Indian grass comes to $14.25 per pound. As said before, the alfalfa would be $5 for a 1-pound bag and $25 for a 5-pound bag, and the big blue stem would be $10 per pound. Also, it would be beneficial for the landowner to uproot any invasive species that are not native to the area, so the ones that are native can thrive in their place.
Returning to the strawberries, planting alfalfa every 25th row will result in reduced damage by the lygus bug. Introducing the mite Phytocelius persimilis to prey on the 2-spotted spider mite will reduce overall damage to strawberry plants without the need for pesticides. Where the natural environment is concerned, it is important to mention bobolinks. Bobolinks are an indigenous bird that is now protected by the Ministry of Natural Resources. This cute little fellow nests in hayfields during the summer months before migrating south in the fall with its young. Farmers have recently been very hesitant to allow the bobolinks to nest in their fields because they have not always left by the time their field is to be harvested, and hurting them or damaging nests and eggs comes with a fine. Suggestions for this issue are to harvest the field later if at all possible, and to do something of a sweep before harvesting to make sure no bobolinks are still hiding.
Being able to preserve natural environments is another priority of the landowner, one that can be facilitated by public awareness. An option that can be considered more by the county and the community is the possibility of having walking trails through the protected forests and wetlands, so that they could be appreciated by the general public. These trails could be funded by donation boxes in parking lots for other natural resource areas. As well as you could promote school trips to the protected areas to raise awareness for the young people of the community.
In conclusion, as one of the densest areas of rare and endangered wildlife in Canada, it should be a priority to work towards restoring and enhancing the wetlands and grasslands in Norfolk County. The costs to both protect his lands and increase productivity are reasonable. We hope the Environmental Farm Group will therefore consider funding our plan and work to create a healthier future without sacrificing the farmers' revenue.